half of our players made 3 points.
It seems about half of our players. You are correct.
About half of them. Some of the names that you'd expect to win round 1 did pretty well. Some of the names you expect to win round 1 didn't win round 1. They're sitting at 0 points. But not everybody can win. We couldn't sit there with everybody at 3 points, or something would be wrong.
You have to question what's going on.
So we're going to be going into a more interesting round 2, I'd say. Because last week we saw these players battle in round 2.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to be seeing Jacob Belkin versus Kyle Hadberg.
Nice.
And another interesting fun fact of the evening. Kyle's playing something that's not Tron.
Huh. Weird.
Yeah. He's on the blue-black mill style. Just the go-to speed mill, if you will.
Okay.
Mesmeric orbs. Grooving. They're making faces for the camera.
Straw poll is up, guys. Get those votes in. Let us know.
Players are loving the player cam.
Is it green, white, Hatebears, or is it going to be blue, black, mill? Fun fact about Nan and I's modern journey. I played blue, black, mill once.
Only once.
Once. It wasn't good.
Once upon a modern tournament.
Yep. Wasn't good. Tournament was great. First ever GP, first ever tournament.
Said, you know what? I want to go to an event that has over 4,000 people at it.
Over 4,000.
When I want to learn how to battle against Storm 3 times.
I played Storm 2 times that day.
Yeah.
I played against a 12-year-old, and that the first time, and I said, "Wait a second, I need someone else watching this. What is this dude doing?
What is happening?"
He's like got the play mat that has a storm count on it, so he can just move the dice up, and he's playing these rituals and.
That's smart.
Brett being evergreen and new to the game, he was like, yep,
Is that what you're doing right now?
Sure, that's fine.
So, we're seeing a blue-black mill. It's been a little bit since we've seen this deck on camera. I forgot off the top of my head now. Oh, dang it, what's his name? He was rocking out the mill deck for a little bit on stream. One of our newer players.
Philip?
Yes, thank you. And he's had the more budget version.
Yeah.
Where Kyle definitely spent the money on it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, there aren't a lot of breakneck cards in the blue-black mill deck.
No.
It's just the cards that are the breaknecks, they really do breaknecks. You know, you've got Glimpse the Unthinkable, I think is probably the most expensive card in the deck.
Yeah, I'd say. Well, it's also, depending on the version, some are running Ensnaring Bridge.
Oh, okay.
But yes, from specific mill cards, that is the most expensive mill card out there.
So, I mean, in terms of a deck that you could pick up and play, blue-black mill, definitely something that you could potentially pick up, play at a smaller event just to get the idea of what... Because, I mean, the goal of a mill deck is to make sure your opponent has no cards to draw. As Jacob plays his Horizon Canopy, passes the turn.
And we see Jace's...
Phantasm?
Phantasm. It's just a 1/1.
Oh, that's it.
That's it. But he can become a 5/5. Because if your opponent has 10 or more cards in his or her graveyard, he becomes a 5/5. He gets +4/+4.
What a nice guy.
It's just an illusion with flying. Now, another thing to note is he could potentially swing in for 5 damage on turn 2 if he has a Glimpse the Unthinkable.
Oh, yeah. Combo.
So let's see if he can go combo style. It looks like...
Leonin Arbiter for Jacob. Just that really nice Cat Cleric
Ghost Quarter. He will take a point of damage to do that to get that white mana.
Says don't go searching for things unless you pay 2 more.
Mesmeric Orb. And he will pass turn here. What? Swing 1. Why? Oh, it's a flyer. That's why. I'm like, why would you do that? Okay, 18 all, and Jacob will have to mill 2. And he double checks. Oh, that's the card it is. I milled 2 because I untapped 2 permanents. Cool.
Got it. Starting off strong. Mesmeric Orb's definitely going to help Kyle here, as he looks like he's a little tripped up on his other color mana, whether that's blue or black for him. He won't be able to cast cards like Breaking or cast the Glimpse the Unthinkable yet.
Not yet. And one of the other benefits of running Ghost Quarter is the fact... Oh, Ghost Quarter. Nice. One of the benefits is to make your opponent shuffle their library so you can hit them with Archive Traps.
Oh, yeah.
Which, Kyle tried to do it against me, but I'm like, no. I know how this deck works. I'm not falling for your shenanigans.
Untaps 2, Visions of Beyond hits the graveyard. And here's the Hedron Crab. Another fun creature for the mill deck. Guys, I'm so excited about this mill deck, I'm just going to show you all the cards.
That's the way to do it. So, Hedron Crab works really well with all the fetch lands that are running around, because, you know, making your opponent mill every time you get a land is great.
Yeah. Now, Thalia is going to make things a little difficult for Kyle, I think.
Yeah.
Making those mill cards that he's interested in playing, whether he has them in his hand, that Jace's Phantasm, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, just 9 cards. Still a 1/1.
Still only 1 coming across. But I'm assuming they swung in for damage. So 4 puts them to 14. Or something close to that. We're going to guess our life totals are at. And they're counting it up, making sure. And let's see. Ooh, a path. That's nice.
He says, nice try. Let me pad the exile. You're not allowed to get a card. Untap 3. Okay. Alright. Draw a card. Game on for Jace's Phantasm now. Tying up the game 14-14.
Which is nice.
Now, I will say this, that Mesmeric Orb is getting work done.
Yeah,
As Jacob taps out both creatures and mana.
4 more are going to come across. He says, that's fine. I mean, guaranteed you're going to mill 2 more. The more cards that get thrown away also helps that Hideaway get activated. We'll see a fetch come down. Kyle will go down to 9. And he's going to tap this stuff down and say, I'm going to make you mill some stuff.
Kyle deciding on the card he would like for his land. Why the island?
So Akazam asking, is 23rd or 2nd their current standings in this tournament? So this is currently week 3 of season 2, so that is their current standings as of week number 2.
Yep, for this season's invitational.
So this season's invitational. So if you're watching on Twitch and you scroll down, there is our point standing, and it has, and you actually, if you can click on it if you want, because it only shows the top 8, but if you click on it, it brings you up to the full image of everybody that has points, and you will see that Kyle Hadberg is ranked 23rd currently, while Jacob is ranked 2nd. So, good question.
Swamp is the land play for turn. So now, the big mill cards being Glimpse the Unthinkable and Breaking are live. And here comes Glimpse.
Please mill 10. And I'm paying 3 for it.
Because of Thalia.
Because of Thalia. Which I am really looking forward to the new Thalia coming into.
Oh, she's gonna be so rude.
She's legal now.
True.
She became legal on Friday.
So
that means
tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow
And
you guys can be able to see her. So next week you will be able to see potentially a new Thalia, because I already talked to Jacob. He's got at least 2 set aside that are going into his main deck.
Okay.
Taking out, I think, one of his regular Thalias, and I think Hushwing Griff, I think, was the other one he was talking about.
Seems fine. Now, another card I'm super excited about to see Modern play. Maybe a little bit more difficult because of how quick the format is, but the new Liliana.
Okay.
In a control shell.
Mm-hmm.
Neg 2, mill the top 2, return a creature card. Let me get the Snapcaster Mage. Oh, now let me Snapcaster Mage. Seems pretty good.
It seems like you can do some fun stuff with that. Count this for me while I try to commentate. Ooh, Voice of Resurgence. That's cool. Sadly, there's not... With the mill deck, you're not going to be killing off Voice as much, so it's really going to be 2 points of damage coming across usually. Alright. 4 mana. Mind Funeral. This is nice, especially against a deck that does not run a lot of land. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, a Tech Edge in there. Cool. There's 4. Ooh, this deck's getting thin. But he says, you know what? I'll scoop it up here.
Yeah, and that's just because Jacob had such a strong presence of creatures on board.
Yeah.
That Kyle knew that even though Jacob's deck was getting thinner, there wasn't a chance that he was going to survive that game. Mm-hmm. So just go ahead, scoop it up, go on to the next game, and see if you can be a little bit quicker.
And here's one way to check things out. We've got sideboards coming out, so who do you... you know what? I figure you'd want to talk about Jacob's deck, but would you rather talk about...
It's tough because I played both of these decks, and they're so much fun.
They are really fun decks. If you're, like, looking to get into Modern, these are fun decks to play. They... Pretty much every deck in Modern does cost money, I'm not going to lie.
It does.
But the more competitive one out of the two is definitely Jacob's, but it is more of a tier 2, 2.5 deck, you could say, while Kyle's is definitely a tier 3 deck.
Yeah, I would say that Green-White Hatebears is positioned very well right now in the metagame, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it pop up more often, especially with the new Thalia.
I mean, making your opponent's fetch lands enter tapped
seems like
hurts so bad. And then it's like, alright, oh, I also have Leonin Arbiter. So not only are your fetches entering tap, you still have to pay 2 mana
Just to fetch.
Just to fetch.
Oh, by the way, and also a life.
Oh, by the way.
Oh, alright, sorry.
Yeah.
Let me read off Kyle's here.
Okay.
3 Leyline of the Void, 2 Extirpate, 3 Set Adrift, 1 Ensnaring Bridge, 1 Profane Moments, 1 Crypt Incursion, and 2 Surgical Extraction. Man, real nice guy, getting some of these cards in here, things we haven't seen. So Delve, put target non-land permanent on top of its owner's library.
Okay, cool.
I like the surgicals, and the Ensnaring Bridge, definitely, and Extirpate.
Also, Crypt Incursion. 3 mana, 2 colors and a black for each creature exiled from target opponent's graveyard, or target graveyard, but you choose your opponent, and you'll gain, I think, 3 life for each creature? Let me double check. But you gain a bunch of life, which with a creature-based deck like Green White Hatebears, that seems perfect.
Sure. Okay, yeah. Definitely Crypt Incursion.
Yeah. I think he runs at least 1 main board, but yeah, bringing that in would definitely help. So the rest of it seems good. Jacob's side of things, he's got 1 Spellskite, 1 Crucible of World, 1 Burden Forge Tender, 2 Core Firewalker, 3 Stony Silence, 1 Scavenging Ooze, 1 Choke, 1 Getic Teague, 1 Fracturing Gust, 2 Surgicals, and a Dismember. We're going to see Choke come in.
Yes.
We're going to see Crucible come in. And I wouldn't even mind seeing him bring Surgicals, too. But, for sure, Choke and Crucible of Worlds.
I'm going to give you a little bit of Brett thought process.
Okay, hit me with it.
I like I don't know how many Scavenging Uses he's running, but I like that card as well.
So you gain a bunch of life?
You gain a bunch of life, but you're also cutting your graveyard count down. So those cards that are checking people's graveyards,
that is a good point.
It kind of disrupts, as well as boost up not only your life total, but also your Scavenging Use.
That is smart. Yeah, that seems good. He hasn't seen, like, you saw the Mesmeric Orb, so it's like, alright, do I want any artifact removal more than what I have main board? Because he does run the Cat Exalted guy.
Consoling Pride Mage.
That guy.
Yep.
The Pride Mage. So that is an option that he can bring, that he's got in the main board. So he's like, do I need Fracturing Gust after only seeing 1 artifact? Probably not. Maybe not aware that he is running Ensnaring Bridge. Because some versions do, not all versions. But so let's see. Looks like Kyle's ready to go.
Oh yeah, ready and waiting.
Yeah, Kyle's another one of our players that made top 8 of season 1. He's had he's not going ham, I'd say, at the start of this season.
No, he's definitely a brewer. He definitely likes to kind of experiment, test the meta, test the waters, see what's working out. In our first player invitational, we saw him bring red-white control, basically a prison deck with Nahiri and Emrakul. But before that was playing Tron. Definitely a red mage, a lot of burn. He's played in the past. But yeah, I would say a brewer, especially for this season.
Yeah. Alright.
Polluted Delta 59.
Okay, that's what I thought, making sure. We gotta figure out what the card I'm missing is now. Polluted, and now, okay.
For Island into a Hedron Crab, then pass the turn.
If your opponent fetches, plays a creature or a spell before they get their land and say pass, wait for them to pick their land first. Because if you lay down your stuff and start doing your turn, they could could influence their play. And they could have initially had been like, alright, fetch Hedron Crab, and not announce how much life they've taken. They could have originally gone, I'm going to go for Watery Grave. Oh, now I just need an island.
Yep.
or vice versa, depending on what land they're seeing you play.
Landfall trigger, mill the top 3, please. Okay, so Scavenging Ooze, looks like an Aether Vial gets hit.
So this is our Shadows over Innistrad Manic Scribe, with Delirium. So he goes, all right, mill 3. With if I have Delirium, then you're going to continue to mill 3 every one of my upkeeps.
Okay. And Thalia
I
comes
think
down.
it's time to boycott until we see the vote. I think it's round 4.
It is round 4.
There you go. So that's what you've got. 2 more rounds, Muscles. And, there's the choke going to the graveyard.
Oh, sad day.
Alright, here's another Scribe coming out. 2 more lands and a Vial. Now, all these lands going to the graveyard could help if Jacob gets the Crucible. The other downside is the more lands that are going to Jacob's graveyard, the better chance that of Mind Funeral killing Jacob. So landfall triggers coming down.
And a 3rd Manic Scribe.
Wow. I mean, Mana Scribe's nice. Like, I've toyed around with the mill deck with running Thing in the Ice.
Sure.
But I think the Manic Scribe is more of where you want to be because it's still going towards your mill play and it's a wall. Like here, he's like, alright, I'll swing in. Here's a 2-1 and a 2-2. Well, Manic Scribe's a 0-3.
Now, isn't there another card that was just released out of Shadows over Innistrad? Was it Startled Awake?
Startled Awake, 5 mana, mill 13, pay 4, bring it back from the battle or from the graveyard to the battlefield as a 1/1 creature with what's that ability that
Skulk?
Skulk with Skulk. So he's basically unblockable unless your opponent has a 1/1 creature.
I guess the question is that too expensive for Modern in the speed mill deck?
Yes.
That's too bad.
It has a place in Commander and stuff like that.
Sure.
But I think just even a 1/of, it's not really where you want to be because there's so much aggressive stuff going on. I think the better play, if you're going to run a 5 mana spell, is that 5 mana, exile all cards from target player's graveyard, and they exile all other copies of that minus basic lands. So that includes instant, sorceries, creatures, and all those shocks and fetches that have gotten milled, which was run in Mardu Hawks.
Okay.
And I think if you're going to do that, I think a 1/of, and that's the top end, highest you go for this.
Mind Funeral comes down.
1, 2.
Oh,
3, 4, and Crucible of Worlds is in the graveyard. Titan Master saying had to make Crab to herself to pump Scribe triggers. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So basically you want to start getting those Delirium triggers going. Something to consider.
And gets in there. The Manic Scribes being able to block and sustain and survive seems pretty good.
Yeah.
For Kyle. And oh my, double Ghost Quarter.
And you will not be drawing, but he's basically cutting him off of black mana now.
Took him off any of those multicolored spells. And Visions of Beyond.
So I'll pay 2. You have 10 or more cards, so I'm going to draw 3 out of this now.
Definitely safe to assume.
Yeah.
Here's a Dark Slake.
like the mill deck a lot. It's a lot of fun to play, and it seems to be a strategy that a lot of people like that are into the casual scene, I'd say. But a lot of competitive players hate to play against it.
Well, it's the thing about the mill deck is it's pretty fringe.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to see the mill decks putting up a lot of top standings.
No, we did, actually, okay, we've seen a couple make day 2 after they started including Ensnaring Bridge.
Sure.
And going, like, you know, X and 2, X and 1 at GPs and stuff like that, but it's not...
It's because no one's prepared.
No one's prepared, and it's not going to win a tournament. I can guarantee we are not going to see the blue-black mill deck win a GP as Modern stands currently. With the cards that we have available to us and the way the format is shaped, it will not happen. It's a tier 3 deck if we had a 3-tier system.
Yeah.
Right? It's a fringe deck. It's gonna win games. It's gonna do stuff. Gonna annoy some players. But it's not a... It's not a deck that you're going to consistently run into every tournament. Same kind of stuff. It's going to be... Let me pull these up while we're talking about it, in case any of the players decides to bring any other cards. That's what their sideboards look like. This Brett is awesome and has these cool little images written up, so we know how things are going to be looking for these players. But it's not something that you're going to be facing every time you go to an Open or GP.
Absolutely not.
Now, if you're having a really poor showing at one of those, and you're in the X and 3 bracket or something like that, you know, you may see it, or somebody around you might see it. You're more likely to see this deck at side events.
Yeah.
So if you're going to a GP and you're like, you know what, I'm going to play in the 8-man win a box or something. Or I'm just going to go play in just a little 8-man Modern win boosters or whatever different prize wall tickets that different events set up. You'll see a mill deck from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the more likely place, because most of the time the players that are piloting the mill deck are not going for the gold. They're coming to have fun.
I'm just saying,
I love playing
you
mill.
always go for the gold. So I disagree there.
Okay, all right.
They are going for the gold.
Are they?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they...
I mean, yes, they're trying to win. And they're trying to win with a really fun strategy, because I love mill. But I think that...
They are going for the gold. How dare you?
Okay.
I take offense from all blue-black mill players out there. Hear me?
Yeah.
Because Nan is a jerk.
No. What I'm trying to say is...
Uh-huh. Do tell.
The deck is...
Dig yourself out of this
I will.
hole.
Okay, here we go. What I'm trying to say is the deck is fun, and it takes the fun more than it takes the win.
It takes the fun... Somebody write that quote down for me.
It
takes the fun more than it takes the win.
So, so what I'm trying to say really is that it's gonna win matches. It's gonna take games off people, especially the decks that run very few lands. Green-white Hatebears, we saw it was able to do well there. Affinity, if you can get it early in Snaring Bridge, that's something you can be able to do, because they don't run very many lands either, like the Delver decks, but because you're also playing against like the control decks now, where they're running 24, 25 lands, that's not going to be very easy for you.
Takes the fun more than it takes the win.
But you know what I'm trying to say.
Oh, I know what you're trying to say.
I hate all mill players.
If they're not me, I hate them.
No, I love mill because, look, I have in Commander I play mill.
Oh, I know.
In Standard, I have a mill deck. In Modern, I have a mill deck.
Uh-huh.
So I have a mill deck in almost all formats. You're putting that quote up. Alright. Decisions. Quote number 6. What's quote number 5 now?
It's not, can you make a tribal
That's
dinosaur
quote
thing?
2. Hello, Batman.
Hello. Coming out downstairs.
Yep. It's hot in this house. Jacob says no. Okay.
Is he going to 5?
That's now, fun fact, for any of the players that are running ley lines, not as many anymore, but if you're running Leyline of Sanctity, you 100% bring them in this matchup.
Definitely.
Because majority of the spells that Kyler is casting is target player puts the top X cards into their graveyard.
And that is why I had such a horrible time at GP Richmond. Because...
And we're full circle again.
Yes, because what was very prominent in GP Richmond 3 years ago? Storm. So what did everyone want to bring? Leyline of Sanctity.
Also, you know what else was prominent? Pod.
Type Master doing more mulligan to keep cards in their deck.
Yes. Super secret text. I'm playing against the mill deck. You know what? I'm going to go to 6. Just so I have one more card in my library. Got him. I'm going to figure out one card to add into here. What should we put in this deck?
One, two, three, four, five. Scry 1. Keep it on top. Here is my tapped Temple Garden, pass a turn. Polluted Delta for a Hedron Crab.
Pass.
What do you guess? What do you guess?
He's going to go for a Watery Grave.
A Watery Grave.
No, I don't know what his land base is, but I'm going to say Watery Grave. Especially knowing that his opponent played a... Oh, no, just an island.
Stirring Wildwood for Jacob. Passes back.
Nice little man land there.
Watery Grave. Landfall trigger. Ooh, it's a voice, a Thalia, and looks to be a land. And passes a turn. Temple Garden. Jacob says, I have a turn 3 play.
New Thalia.
Loxodon's Miter.
Not legal as of time of the recording. But Loxodon Smiter is pretty sweet. Landfall trigger.
Flooded Strand. Here's
That's
another thing.
small.
Path. Razor Verge
that
and
Crucible.
Crucible.
I was just like, that's what I want to see against mill decks. Crucible World all the time.
Just to make sure to keep them off black.
Yeah, just constantly blow up all of their lands. But I think that's also what I want to do. It's just mess with people.
Sure.
I think that's what the Pox deck is missing. Crucible of Worlds.
Probably. Here's a Ghost Quarter.
Run at least
Oh,
two
off
main.
another Lawson Smiter.
Ooh, that's kind of scary.
A pair of Smiters.
Pair of Smiters coming across, but he'll fetch. Mill away. Oh, that Wilt Leaf would have been nice next turn.
Yeah,
Even so,
that would have been pretty good.
2 smiters is pretty scary.
Sure. Kyle's gonna have to speed up his game a little bit.
He's got to hope for an ensnaring bridge here. I think that's the saving grace that he's missing.
Another Hedron Crab does help out.
I mean, they're blockers. They're going to get in the way.
Crash.
8 points of damage coming across right now.
Interesting. He says he's going to take it.
Hmm.
Dropping him to 6. Is that a critical life total? I'm not sure.
I guess he's hoping to be able to block next turn. Well, no, because... Alright. He's hoping for Crypt Incursion.
Yeah. And Visions, draw 3 cards.
Again, hoping for the Crypt Incursion. No, I think, like... He can activate Stirring Wildwood here and swing in for quite a bit of damage next turn. Or Wilt Leaf would be even better.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, checking the math. Seeing how the damage would come across if blockers are declared. Land for turn. Activate. Move to combat. Wah, 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 wah,
Let's
wah.
bring the team. What you got? Cryptic Command.
Crypt Incursion.
Oh, there it is.
Voice trigger.
Yeah, that will incur. Incur
Got him.
a voice trigger.
Got him.
I'm funny.
I liked it. I
Yeah.
scored it.
What can I say?
Hey, what artist are you going to be at the Open, Eddie? Somebody was asking me today, and I was like, I haven't even looked, to be honest. Alright, so how much life is he going to gain? A whole bunch. I'm going to
Yeah.
say... Alright, let's see. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15... Oh my gosh. Alright. So he says, those are all creatures. Those are all non-creatures. But he doesn't block and takes... I'm curious how many creatures that actually was.
It's safe to assume he's at a somewhat healthy life total.
Yeah, I'd say at this point. At least gained 15 for sure. But then he took, what, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is Wildwood 3? A 3 power?
I think
I
it's
wanna
a
say.
3-4.
So, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Took 13 for sure. Gained 15. So we'll say he's at least at 8. And there was supposed to be a voice trigger. I don't know if Jacob got that or not.
Ooh, minefield.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's sweet.
That's a pretty mediocre minefield.
Yeah. Sweet for Jacob, sad for Kyle.
An understatement, though.
Okay. I've been holding off asking. Kyle's lands are mismatched.
All of them.
Thoughts?
I'm not a fan.
Not a fan of the mismatched lands?
No.
Like, it's not, like, different sets, different arts. Sorry. Just, like, all of it's just, I don't know. Alright. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. If he had that voice token, I don't think he'd remember to get. You gotta block the smiters here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Smiters have trample too, right?
No, they're just 4/4s.
Okay. OCD much? Yeah. hey. You gotta make your deck look pretty, right? Is that not a... Alright, so definitely took 5. We'll say he's at 3, maybe.
Everyone ignore Nan.
No.
Because his making his own white border islands is disgusting.
Disgustingly awesome.
Nope.
They're so cringeworthy. It's great.
Here's a Manic Scribe.
Mill 3, please. We've had some interesting decks on tonight, though. Lantern Control versus Grixis Delver.
Mm-hmm.
Green-White Hatebears versus Blue-Black Mill.
And that's like I said, I always talk up.
Ooh.
Here's a glimpse.
Yes.
Glimpse
and thing go for 10.
We have such a diverse player base with a lot of cards for the modern format, and we can see quite a bit total. And I love it.
I mean, we are getting, on average, 25 players a week. The most we've had so far this season has been 31 players. So we've had a good mix of players playing different decks, and people playing different decks each week, too.
Yeah.
It's not the same old, same old. Now, you're going to have those players like we've talked about that are like, okay, you know Eric Bloom is on Tron.
Sure.
Like,
You
that's
know-
that's a given.
You know Keenan is on Burn.
You know Keenan is on Burn. TJ, 9 times out of 10, is going to be on Affinity.
Unless he's feeling froggy.
Unless he's feeling froggy, which more likely than not, as of late, he's starting to feel froggy. Surgical. It's also a factor, and one of the things that I do personally is I might just reveal all the information that everyone probably knows, because I've said this before, but when a tournament's coming up that I'm playing in, like especially like a GP, I'll grind the deck that I'm playing for the few weeks leading up to that.
Sure.
It's just what I like to do. Makes me feel comfortable with the deck, get a couple extra reps in with it. Like, and most of the times if I'm going to a big event, I'm only playing the deck that I feel most comfortable with. Because I don't feel that I can make the meta call over the deck I'm comfortable with. Amazing Surgical on Crypt Incursion.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying straight up, yes, you got me once with it, but you're not going to win off of, or you're not going to delay the game that much longer. I'm going to kill you. You might have gained a bunch of life initially, but I'm gonna deal some damage to you. And also revealing a Surgical and 2 Archives in hand.
Oh, don't fetch, Jacob.
Yeah. Now, this game would also have been over if Jacob remembered his voice trigger.
True.
Doesn't matter as much right now, but it's still a factor in it. That this game could have been over a little bit sooner. Bam! Turn my dude sideways. Block one of your blocks on spiders. Now, the life total could be inaccurate here. I don't know necessarily if he's at 3, because I didn't get to see all the cards that were exiled. But it looks like, yeah, we'll just say he's at 3.
Alright. I'm glad that's where it ended. Maybe he already knew it was going to end if Jacob turned his creature sideways. However, Kyle did not shuffle his deck after Jacob looked through it.
Oh.
So I was like on the edge of my seat going,
Oh no.
Kyle, you gotta shuffle your deck.
Oh no.
But it's okay. It was over. We're fine.
Hello.
What's happening?
2 rounds down, guys.
Man, they've been some long rounds.
There've been some. We decided to drag them for the first couple rounds.
Yeah.
See some different decks we're not as used to seeing.
Yep.
But definitely some cool matches here. So, because it was a little bit longer, let's just jump right into the point totals and get right into to round 3.
Let's
Because
do it.
it's between round 3 that we always do our little halfway through break and kind of do some shout outs and all that good stuff. So, bam, round 2 in the books.